My name is Dominique, and in the past few years, I've lived on 4 continents, learning everything I could about history, language, and culture. I traveled to understand how people on opposite ends of the earth can have unique national identities, yet in some ways, still be so similar. Somewhere along the way, I realized the one thing we all had in common: food. Something that always brings us together, a common denominator of the human race. I traveled the world to discover food as an expression of our identities, to discover who we are because of food and its ingredients. In the fall of 2016, I moved to Argentina to study Spanish for 4 months. That's where I met Lisa Ubalecker Andrade, a professor of history at the University of San Andres. Originally from Virginia, Lisa has been living in Buenos Aires for nearly 10 years.
I teach a class that is called The Culture of Food and Wine in Argentina, but I kind of think about it as the history and reality of Argentina through food. Argentina's culture, its idea of a nation, so much revolved around this production of meat. And the idea that the rest of the world eating beef is a luxury, but here was a source of pride for people. The asado is an event. It's a very masculine event in which the asador, the man who runs the asado, generally puts on like a food performance for his friends and for his family or whoever he's cooking for. It's about what that artist can bring to that specific recipe as opposed to modifying the food in some way, right? It's not about like suddenly putting hot sauce on your meat. It's about his exact timing or what kind of wood he used to create that asado.
I left Argentina in December, returning home in time for our annual Christmas tradition. Every year around the holidays, my family gets together to make pastelas, an ethnic dish from Puerto Rico, similar to tamales, but prepared uniquely with Puerto Rican ingredients. In total, the pastela making process took us over 10 hours.
The process is, oh my goodness, do I really want to do this again? It's a lot of work.
I call it Christine servings.
I would say the hardest part is we're using bananas, green bananas, and they're cooking bananas as opposed to your yellow bananas that you eat. Plantains, which is plátanos that we use. There's another vegetable kind of on the potato side. It's called yautía that we use. And all of that is either peeled or the leaf broken down, which is a lot of it. Sometimes it's really hard to do that.
I never changed the recipe, and I always made them the same way my mother-in-law did. And there's no other way. Well, now that you can use a blender, yes, but I still like doing it the other way. It's just, that's the way I am. It's a kind of a holiday when we really talk to one another and get together, and that was more or less why we did it. And I continue it, and hoping my kids will continue it too.
After spending a few weeks at home, I left for Dublin, Ireland. That's where I met Pádraig O'Gallagher, owner and executive chef of Gallagher's Boxty House at the center of Temple Bar.
I had this idea I dreamt up in Venezuela when I was working for these Syrians. They used to make their pita breads, their flatbreads, and fill the center with koftas and different fillings and roll it. I was brought up on boxty, which is potato bread from the northwest of Ireland, from where I'm from, County Leitrim. And our pancake was a little bit similar, so I said, wouldn't it be great someday to come home and open an Irish restaurant? Food is becoming more central towards our way of thinking. I think, again, going back 28 years and go back 170 years to An Gorta Mór, the big hunger, or the great hunger, which was the potato blight and the devastation of the potato crop. The population fell from 8.5 million to a little over 3 million. And I don't think we've ever actually properly addressed it. We kind of brushed it under the carpet. So our relationship with food never really developed, even though we had fantastic food.
When I returned home, I realized these moments with my family in the kitchen were about much more than cooking.
And the whole idea is that our culture also revolves around food. You know, it's how we bring people together. It's how we communicate love. It's how we express ourselves.
Pilot 15 minutes.
No food is from anywhere, really. All food is of the world. It's just kind of what people did with it. that shaped what it actually means.